What to do, what to do. Okay, so let's see if we can get this started. So you see I've been prancing around all day in my sexy boots. Hi everyone, yet again. This time someone is posing the question, or rather asking for unique tapping ideas. And I just kind of started off as like a little intro clip doing some stacked polyrhythms, like the 2-on-3, like that. A lot of the two-handed playing is already going to be polyrhythmic, like having stacked things like that. It's just sometimes it's not as obvious that you need to be practicing or thinking about these things. Like especially if there's two lines. So like I was just kind of doing G minor on both hands, but they're kind of like they intersect at certain intervals and create those unique harmonies. And of course a little off there. That's kind of a neat exercise, is to just approach it like here is the right hand, here's the left hand. You're going to play the same rhythms, but you're going to play totally different notes. And maybe this one's going down. This hand is playing a scale down. This hand's playing a scale up, or vice versa, or they're both going together. This just popped in my head. The song Blues for Alice by yeah, like some new ideas. So like ways of thinking. But a lot of times, I want to drift back into like Miles or Bill Evans territory. Where instead of it being like it's kind of like I'm playing more sparse phrases, but they tend to go over the bar or exploit certain rhythmic devices. So and it kind of has a different swing to it, like a different feel, so like I'm saying? Like kind of, it's not necessarily more cool jazz type lines. It's kind of like you're kind of separating your two hands. This one here is going on autopilot. And this one over here is kind of like more detached, kind of like the way a horn player would play, like a sax player. They're not gonna, they're not gonna play it so strict because they're not connected to the accompaniment in general. It's like the general idea of what I'm saying. And there's so much stuff to think about in this domain, like how to approach this. And like, it's just, you could write a never-ending book, because it's not just the guitar, it's studying improvisation. So one of the things that I do is I tend to actually think more about another instrument other than the guitar sometimes, because there comes a point where it's like, are you playing music or are you trying to do stuff on the guitar? Anyway, getting back to that thing. So some interesting ideas, some like more fresh type things, because it's, like there's all different ways to do this. And I'm just going to digress again. So, you can do, like I've talked about in a previous video, like more homophonic, vertical type stuff, where all the stuff is changing in the same rhythms. Like that kind of thing. It's more like a horn section, or like the block piano style, like where they do. You hear Bill Evans used to do that a lot too, and a lot of other people. But see, there's all these different ways to approach it, not just in terms of the mechanics of that, but there's also, like, I use Chick Corea as an example because there was such a rich variety of different approaches in his playing, more so than a lot of other players. And Chick would do, like, if he was, I can't say specifically, I've never heard him play that song as far as my memory serves me, but if he were to play something like that, I mean, it could be like, all over the entire keyboard with different rhythms and stuff that's pulled from classical music or Latin or flamenco or African or something he made up, or just old school fusion or old school bebop or cool, like they had such a wide palette, some new ideas of different things. So like in the last video, I was doing some Tosna Bossy selective picking. So like, again, the same principle can sort of apply here. You could think of it like drumming, like a Latin auxiliary percussionist might be doing like some kind of a figure, like something similar to that, See right there, the addition of like gospel or soul type chords, like that kind of thing. So there's that kind of a thing. I mean, I've also demonstrated a lot of doing like Baroque style things with that, which, I guess would be like. I think a lot about textures. It's not the tapping techniques themselves always. It's more like the texture ideas. So, and again, I'm playing these standards. Sometimes I'll use these jazz standards as an example. I could use like rock tunes or something as the backing track or something of what we're working on, but I kind of feel like the standards have a lot of kind of like more basic extended harmony than a lot of other things. So it gives you like an opportunity to work with that and learn how to play on the changes, because learning to play on changes is like one of the big things that you need to do, I think, if you're going to really approach this technique on the guitar and try to master it. I personally feel that learning to play on changes is like really critical. You could play all power chords with that, you know. See, that has like a more stripped down kind of sound, but that might be kind of cool to go into if you're working on a solo arrangement, or if you're just improvising a solo arrangement off of the cuff, you know. I think I read this somewhere. I don't remember who said it. Maybe it was Frank. I think it was Frank Zappa. It said if you want to do something, or no, maybe it was either Frank Zappa or Alan Holdsworth, I think, that said if you want to hear yourself doing something original or different on the guitar, put your fingers where they have never been previously. And there's a lot of basic wisdom to that, because you know how you're going to sound the same if you've just been playing the same stuff in the same places. Juxtapose along the length, you know, like one of the things I like to do is do this pointillistic thing where it's like broken up over the whole fingerboard. So like, so like one of the things too is like learning to walk bass lines over something like that. Trying to keep the whole thing moving forward. I've never actually tried that with that song before, so yeah. And it's just learning a lot of different stuff and just really keep compiling things and adding things to your repertoire and your bag of tricks, you know. What I do a lot of theme and variation on pieces that I'm working on, so sometimes I'll do what I consider to be like the bass player improvising in lieu of the right hand being traditionally where it would be in a higher register than the chord. And again, I might just decide to change registers, you know, because I'm just trying to make what I think is the most musically sensible statement. Start to play just the sevenths or something, yeah. see what I'm saying? There's a lot of information in just the root and the seventh on changes like that. And there's all kinds of things. You start to go down a rabbit hole, and after a while, you're working on some sort of a musical problem that you would not have even thought of had you not started from some point. Go into, like, for example, the double notes or the selective picking type of, you know. You see, and there we go. We've already got, there's a really interesting sound that I just kind of came up with right in front of you. You just witnessed it. You know, you're going to really have to, if you're doing this, you need to just spend a lot of time listening to piano players, because they've already been doing this and writing music and for it and adapting different pieces for the polyphonic approaches and things like that. And also just really learning like tunes and changes, and more importantly changes, just how to play over different types of changes and effectively do it. So, like, for example, I saw this in the Scott Harrison video. It was just G minor 7 and B flat minor 7 in like a bossa nova rhythm. It was like, right, and learning how to like phrase through both of those parts. It's tricky to be able to do something like that, you know, like to phrase and make a real interesting statement, and then beyond that, then show your virtuosity, like. And of course, that's not a tapping idea, but there again, you know, you could even take those kinds of rhythms and break them up on the fingerboard like that. So a little, like one of the exercises he talked about in there was like just like ascending, but keeping the same arc of the scale going up or down, but then going through the changes, still making the changes, right? So like, it's really a fun and useful exercise, especially when you start going over more complicated chords all in a row, you know, at a faster tempo. It really does make a difference. And so I think I'll probably leave it at that. So hopefully you found this little bit to be useful, and I'll see you in the next video.